A big hello to everyone. And today I'm very lucky to have Prachi Bari with me, who lives in India. How are you doing today, Prachi?
Namaste, I'm Prachi. I'm happy to be here with you. I'm good. It's almost evening, but it's fun.
Well, thanks for joining us. Um, so I'm very lucky to have lived most of my life in England, where I did in London, to be more precise, where I did all my schooling and university. And although some people may dispute this, but in my opinion, women in the eyes of the law are equal to men here in England. However, unfortunately, this is not the case everywhere in the world. And as when we were discussing this one time on a Zoom, I remember one of the attendees, who's a very lovely lady, a good friend of mine, said, "Oh, come on, Nadia, it's 2021. True, it's 2021, but unfortunately, still a lot of women around the world don't have the opportunities and rights that they should have. I can understand this as I come from the Middle East. I'm an Arab, a Palestinian, and I come from a patriarchal society where most people believe that women are inferior. This was not the case for me, as you can't judge everyone just by their ethnicity or background, get to know them. But I grew up in a household where my father was a feminist, a great supporter of women's rights. I was always raised to believe I was as good as, if not better than a man. And my father always taught me I could do whatever I put my mind to and achieve whatever I wanted, as long as I worked hard and got an education. So that's a little bit about me. But interestingly enough, the other day I read about a movie called The Great Indian Kitchen. And this movie was a great hit, despite being turned down by Amazon and Netflix. And some people are all already calling it the film of the year. And it portrays the life of an Indian woman, and it's all the hard work that women are expected to do. And really, it set off a great debate in India. And this is why I have Prachi here today to have her perspective, both on the movie and on the role of women in India. So, what do you think, Prachi?
Okay. First of all, I'm very happy that someone actually said that 2021 and there is equality between men and women. If it is really indeed so, then I'm happy that it is there. But I don't think I see it here. I don't see it anywhere. Um, I guess the world is only thinking about small portions of it or in a smaller part. When you look at it, I am in India. I live in a, I'm actually from Mumbai, which is like the financial capital of Maharashtra, the state. But I live alone in Pune. Pune is a two-tier city, not as big as Mumbai. And there's a vast difference culturally also, though we are both in Maharashtra, in the way a woman thinks or does things. You know, how she thinks, how she dresses up, and how she is in reality. Um, Frankly speaking, woman has always been thought about to be someone whose place has always been in the kitchen. Never have you will you see anything that will show that she is never in the kitchen. We have advertisements which show her always in the kitchen. We have soap operas and serials which always begin from the kitchen or end in the kitchen, or she's always doing something in the kitchen. So what is it that we have this relationship between the woman and the kitchen? If you look at it from the world perspective, you say, oh, everyone cooks, so you need a kitchen. But in India, it's not so. It's almost like saying that the moment you're born a woman, it is written or ingrained that, oh, good, now that we have somebody, here is someone, a slave to be in your kitchen. That's how people look at it, you know. Kitchen is no longer just a place to experiment or make food, but it's more like, now that we have a woman here, let's send her to the kitchen. If you don't want her to be part of your family next to the kitchens, the eldest person or the elder of the family will say, go to the kitchen. Why? I mean, what is it about kitchen? And coming to the film that you mentioned, I admit I have not seen the whole film. I only saw the trailer. I don't think I've seen the film totally, but I've read about it. I've read several articles about it, and it's interesting that this film has been shot in south of India, in Kerala to be exact. Kerala is a matriarchal state. It's all like more powers are in the woman's hand, and yet here is a filmmaker showing us the true meaning of being a woman and being inside a kitchen. So whether you are educated or whether you have hold the highest degree or the highest position in a company, you're still going to bound by the kitchen everywhere. And this is what is something sometimes you feel bad about it. Like, why can't the perspective change ever? Why is it that a woman always has to be, specifically in India, why is a woman always looked upon as somebody who is always to be seen in the kitchen? Why can't she be in the living room with the husband? And why should she always hide in the kitchen? It's her domain, as they call it. And I'm not a feminist, but I feel a lot about it.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So tell us about your life growing up. What was it like?
Okay, so since I was born in a larger city, a bigger city, my upbringing has been kind of completely different. One, both my parents have been progressive and liberal. They were both working couple. My father was with the central government. My mom was a teacher. She taught for almost 33 years, and in a girls' school, a girls' convent school. Let's put it that way. The convent is important. So interestingly, my growing up thing was much more fun because um, my father didn't really know how to cook except boil an egg initially. So it was up to my mom. My mom comes from a very nice family and fluent in a way. And she was quite surprised when my father said he couldn't cook. So she said, it's okay, but I'll teach you. And my father was willing to learn. That's very important. And my father and my mom divided between themselves all the duties, including kitchen duties. Since my mom had to wake up very early to go change two trains to reach to her school where she was teaching, it was my father's duty. And I emphasize on duty because my father did do it out of love also because he had to feed us, my brother and I have a younger brother. And it was very interesting that my mom taught him how to use the pressure cooker. Now, a little deviation, pressure cooker is a very important tool in every Indian woman's household. If she gets, when she gets married or when they shift into a new house, the first thing she'll do is buy a pressure cooker. One, it saves time. And your basic meal of rice and dal, as in lentils, can be cooked super fast. You can even add some potatoes and they will boil out also very fast. So then you have your dal and your rice and maybe a vegetable made out of potatoes. So all three can be cooked in one go. So my father was taught by my mom in this way. It's very easy to put up a pressure cooker. All you need to remember is the amount of water that you put in your dal and in your rice. Don't forget to add a little bit of salt to your rice, and a little bit of turmeric on your into your dal, and make sure there's enough water covering it. And wait, when you put everything inside, wait for 3 whistles. When the pressure cooker, it whistles, when it cooks. That's that simple. And I think my father excelled at it because he was making most of our lunch boxes for us because we were in a day school, which was from 9 to 10, 9 to 5 in the evening. So it was quite a long time and we have 2 breaks. So one was for a smaller one. So he would end up filling up our lunch boxes also accordingly. My mom was still a working woman, but yet in the morning she would get up at 4 just to make the chapatis. Chapatis are the rice or the rotis that we call it. You call it naan, but naan is not the same as chapatis or rotis. These are made out of wheat. So she would wake up, make those in the morning. My father was taught how to temper vegetables also. Sometimes you should pressure cook them. And she had taught him the simplest way of tempering simple recipes. So that way, I think half of my school time, I have seen my father cook for me. But he was interested in cooking also. Let me say that very clearly. There are several men that we will find who have no interest in cooking. They feel that it is degrading for them to be seen in the kitchen or seen inside a kitchen. This I can tell you. When I was married earlier, I'm divorced now. Though my husband was somebody I met while I was working, we were working together. it was very surprised to see that when he told me that he didn't know much about cooking. The only thing he knew was how to make an omelette. And I was quite shocked. I said, what are you talking about? I mean, who cooks for you? Oh, I rely on my sister and my mother. They always cook. It's like I'm not allowed to go into the kitchen. Now look at this perspective. For me, who was coming from a family where I've seen my father cook, I suddenly find somebody who doesn't even know how to cook anything else. So I was quite surprised. I said, why is that? I said, oh no, it's in our tradition, in their tradition, from the family that he comes in. Generations have told him that a man's place is not in the kitchen. It is always belongs to the woman. And I used to get very angry with this kind of notion. But strangely enough, my ex-husband did find it interesting. He realized, because when we were together in a live-in, he realized this, that half the time I would be spending in the kitchen while I was supposed to spend time with him. So he would come and join me in the kitchen to ask me, what are you making? I said, if you want to know, you need to learn. As simple as that. So that's how we ended up cooking together. But sadly, it didn't last long. I mean, his family is much stronger in terms saying that this is wrong. We should not be asking our boys of our family to cook. There are a few other things which went wrong, but I'm happy that he's no longer in my life. We are friends though. I think he's still cooking. I don't know. I'm not in touch with him anymore. But yeah, my father also passed on these beautiful things of cooking and enjoying cooking to my brother. My brother is an excellent cook. He loves to help out his wife. On Sundays, he takes over the entire kitchen and he actually makes good, like complicated dishes like biryani. He would cook a biryani or he would cook fish. We love eating fish and chicken. So he cooks all that for his wife and his kids, which is something I'm very happy and proud to say that that's progress in a way. You know, it's no longer just a woman's prerogative to be inside a kitchen, but it's beyond that. Um, and then I love cooking too, but I live alone. I hate to be cooking for myself. If Nadia, you were to come here, I would cook an excellent meal, a 7 course meal for you. But I can't see myself spending so much time in the kitchen. Just for myself, no. I am also a journalist, so I'm usually on the job. I work 24/7 sometimes if there's a breaking story. I'm not saying I do it every day. So my mom is very concerned about me that when do you eat? I said, oh, I eat out of the road, on the road. That was something that I found very irritating when I came from Mumbai to Pune, because when I told them I eat mostly out, so the girls in my office would say, what? But you're a woman, don't you know how to cook? That was something which was very drastic for me. I said, why? I mean, what's wrong if I want to go out and eat? No, a single woman shouldn't be going out to eat like this. I said, hey, I mean, where are these rules coming out from? Another interesting thing in India is that we have something called arranged marriage system. Now, in arranged marriages, it is often seen, this is from my experience also and of my experience of my cousins and my aunts and uncles. It's been ingrained in everybody. My granny would always tell us, a woman should know how to cook. That was always there. Then we realized why she would say that when we grew up. Whenever there's people coming to see you, the see you is when they're coming to see how good a cook you are, or what do you know. The first thing an Indian a man would look for when he's going for an arranged marriage system is, one, that she has no disability, her eyes are proper, I mean she has good vision, she is fair, yeah, I was rejected, trust me, I know the feeling when I'm British. I'm a little on the tanned British side. So I was rejected about 7 or 8 times. Okay, I don't care about it. But that was when I was growing up. It was like once you're out of college and suddenly it's the duty of your uncle to find a groom for you. And so the groom's family comes to visit your family. The girl is never told who's coming, but you have to dress up nicely, wear a sari. Very important, wear a sari, act shy or be shy that day. Don't talk loudly. These are a few things that still work. And then you will make a special dish called poha, which is made out of dry flaky rice, and that is to be served to the family who's visiting you, who come to see you. And the mother sometimes lies for behalf of this daughter, saying that these have been specially made by the daughter, just to make an impression. And when the groom's family sits and eats, and then the first question they ask is, do you know how to cook? So forget that you're educated. Forget that you're working. Yeah, forget that you might not love wearing saris. You can't show that, of course. I love saris, by the way. I won't say no. But still, the first question on everybody's mind, even when they come to see you, first thing we'll ask, do you know how to cook? I wish I could ask that question to the group. Do you know how to cook?
I like that. I like that. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's been interesting so far, and now things are changing. I'm not saying it's the same, but this is instilled in you. It is ingrained. Generations and generations still follow it, and we can still see it in the soap operas that we have, in the advertisements that they do. Every time it's the woman will be either doing something in the kitchen, or rushing to the kitchen, getting something from the kitchen. So it's like saying that you have no other space except the kitchen. And something I find it very irritating sometimes. Like, why? I mean, if you want the kitchen to be the girl's domain, then make it big, yeah, as big as a living room. I mean, let her enjoy the space then. When she has a problem, if she has to cry, she goes to the kitchen to cry. Why is that? No? So there's several things related to the kitchen here. And I find it that I've never found any solution for it. So it's very, I can't say it's sad and it's not even happy, but it's in between right now. That when you talk about India and when you talk about a woman, it is almost saying that when she's born a woman, her job is to look after the man and always be in the kitchen. Something that I don't really follow. Not me, at least.
Mhm. Well, obviously, you're a very progressive lady. And
Yes.
as a woman myself, I also believe that not every, the play, men and women should share duties equally. So I'm hoping that more people, I'm hoping that more people will think like you in the future or very soon. We'll see. We'll
But
see. Perhaps it was your,
imagine,
yes, of course, please.
imagine this. Yeah, imagine this. Imagine this. You are saying the woman is entirely, the kitchen is entirely her domain. So if you say that the woman is entirely responsible of the kitchen, then why is it that she is not ever selected to be the chef for a five-star restaurant or a hotel? Big hotels, you see men being chefs. Again, there is a kind of distinct kind of a disparity in that, because when you say a woman can cook in the house but she can't manage cooking of thousands of people, how do you come to that? Why is it? Because you have very thick pots and pans, but that's what she does when she's cooking for 100 people in that home also. So how is it that people forget or tend to forget these things? I'm not saying it's there right now. I have a lot of friends who are now amazing. They're Indian, they're women and they're chefs. They're managing restaurants, they're managing hotels, which is something I feel very proud about. So then yet we have this thought process. Also, if you ask these chefs who cooks for you at home, he says, "Oh, my wife. I can't stand the kitchen after I go back home." But has anyone ever asked the woman that after she has worked, say 7 hours or 8 hours, whether she wants to go back to the kitchen? I don't think so. Has anyone ever thought that you sit, I will get you some food? I don't think any husband has done that, at least in India. Have you heard of something? Then I'll be happy.
Well, perhaps but we should always hope that the future will bring a positive change. But I understand from this movie's perspective and from yours perspective, there's still a long way to go. But hopefully, when we talk about it, we debate it, it will help to bring the change around, hopefully.
Another thing is on Internations, if you have a cooking session, I'm very happy that there are some men who are cooking. Like we have a lot of friends who also do the cook-offs, which is something I'm very happy about. But I don't see many men coming in from India to show you that skills. They're either chefs who only show you. But any man, if you ask him, like, would you like to cook for your family today? The first thing he would look up is to his mother-in-law or his mother or his father, and then look at his wife saying, I will help you, you cook. Usually that's how it is. And there is always this notion. However, a woman, however bad a cook she will be, but you will eat it. You will say, you'll call it names saying, oh, it's so badly done and all, but yet you will eat it. But a man, if you're told to cook and if he does it badly, everyone will say, oh, beautifully cooked. No, always. There's this distinction always there. Nobody will point out his mistakes the way a man would say, oh, this was not done properly, or, this was a little, not cooked well, things like that. But that doesn't happen to a man.
That's very interesting. I'm thinking, Prachi, maybe when you have some time, you could come and we could do an Internations, discuss this even more, because I'm sure a lot of people want to give their opinions and would like to discuss it. And perhaps a lot of people might have questions I didn't think of asking.
Sure. I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. So,
I'm no authority on independent women or on the feminism kind of thing, but these are just my experiences on what I've gone through. And also, I have noticed how people react to a woman, whether in the kitchen or outside the kitchen. So these are something that I've grown up, I've seen these things happening. And yeah, you feel bad about it also, but yeah, what can you say? It's finally, it all boils down to the fact that ultimately the kitchen is the woman's domain, is what they keep on saying it. And that's what they call it.
well, I mean, this may be, maybe the case at the moment in India, but hopefully people, one day I hope to see everywhere in the world gender equality, where the kitchen is the place of both the man and the woman.
Yeah.
And it seems to have been the case in your family when you were growing up. You told us your parents equally divided the responsibilities.
But again, they are different. They are not typically Indian family. I mean, we were nuclear. We were not even in a joint family. We still have joint family. We still have traditions where the women eat after the men have eaten in the family. There are still these traditions alive. They are very, very prevalent in the south of India, in the north of India. It's crazy. I mean, I can't stand hunger for myself. I mean, if I have to eat, I'll eat. But it's true. It's still there. And I find it very ridiculous that we are talking about 2021. And we still have these. Nobody wants to get out of those also. It's like become a comfort zone of sorts. Women are also agreeing to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe I'm much of a, inside, I have these kind of a feminist within myself who wants to come out and shout. But nobody's going to listen to me, I guess. We are still a patriarchal society. And even if you want to change things, I think it has to be a gradual and a slow change, Things here don't work too fast because everything comes from the man's perspective. It's always been what your elders said or did. But I think slowly things will change. I don't know. My brother's changed things for his family, but that's not something that everyone else agrees with. But it's okay. They will not go and tom-tom about it. I cooked and that they will show a picture of it on an Instagram or something. It's always the woman who does that.
Wow. Well, slow change perhaps, and one day we'll get there. Thank you so much, Prachi, for your time. It's really been fun talking to you, and I can't wait till we do a Zoom together and everyone can share their opinions on this topic and perhaps ask you questions. I hope. Sure. I know it's getting late where you are, so I won't keep you anymore, but I just want to thank you once again for your time and looking forward to seeing everyone again soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, and have a nice day.